Who's your winner today?
Well, it's going to be Georgia.
It's going to be Georgia.
It's going to be Georgia. Listen, they are too fast defensively for this to get open field like we've seen Florida enjoy, right?
Because the pass rush could not get home. Stroud had time, and Ibuka finally, Gus, we've seen all day, they've held Ibuka in check, and that's the best catch of the day for number 2.
Ibuka, 6 catches, 53 yards. None bigger than that with 42 yards. First and goal to Penn State 2. Travion Henderson lines up in the backfield. Play clock winding down. And they won't get it off.
My goodness. Stroud just does not look at the play clock.
Play a game. Offense number 7. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Gus, this, listen, that was a great throw, but I know this might be little things, but you've got to be aware of that play clock, whether it's winding down, into snap it and milk the clock mode. It's way up high. You see it. There's the play clock right there and there, right on each side of that scoreboard. Stroud's got to be aware of what that is saying to him at all times.
Still learning, C.J. Stroud. Now he's faced with a 2nd and goal at the 7. Here's the handoff. Henderson to the corner. Touchdown, Bucks. Travion Henderson again. And Ohio State takes a 36-24 lead with 2:52 to go.
Great block downs from that left side, and then watch you get a pullers in Rossi. He comes out and gets Carter. Ross is in position, and boom. There's the block, seals the edge. Henderson just walks into the end zone. Boy, this run game was stagnant for most of the day, but you'd have to say this, in this 4th quarter, the offensive line finally showed up, and Ryan finally was able to find some daylight.
Buckeyes going for 2.
Start. Offense number 8. 5-yard penalty to the try.
It's like a carbon copy of that first 2-point try when Stover jumped because Mustipher jumped into the neutral zone. Number 97 for Penn State. And the exact same thing happens here, and Ryan Day will make the exact same decision he did before. There's Mustipher, he jumps, and then on the outside, Stover kind of flinches. They move him back, and now they will try for the extra point.
And it's good. 37-24, 2:52 to go. We'll stay here. And what a day for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, you're going to see the stat sheet, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. played well. But it was even better than that, Gus, because for a large chunk of the day, offensively, Ohio State didn't have much. They couldn't run it. The passing game wasn't great, and so what did they do? They had to go to number 18, and he delivered, creating space, always sure-handed catching the ball when they needed it most there on a 3rd down. Boom, here he is, slant pass, 1st down for Ohio State. And this is a guy that he was called upon today in a tough environment against a very good corner, and he's delivered.
Look at those numbers. 10 catches, 185 yards. Had a chance to talk to Marvin Harrison Sr. on the field before the game, and he's still the same guy, quiet, unassuming, silent almost, proud of his kid. Sees the steps in their route run.
But it's Gus, it's the small copy steps, but then the explosive longer steps to create the space. You know, it's the combination of the two that make him so good.
And here's Evans. Mari Evans taken down hard. Let's go downstairs to Jenny.
And keep in mind, too, guys, it's his first game in the state of Penn.
Alabama is seeking applicants for technicians who will receive a stipend for successful participation in interviews and pre-employment training programs. Kimber Manufacturing is one of the world's largest designers and manufacturers of premium
Going over routes together, and everyone talks about his natural athletic ability. We know that. But then when you ask the coaches, you see Penn Hartline there talking about him. He said he is the CEO of his own football endeavor, never leaves one rock unturned.
First down and 10 to the 19. Intercepted. Wow! Tuimoloau again. Unbelievable. JT Tuimoloau has had the game of his life. He deflected a pass that led to an interception. He intercepted a pass. He got a sack. He got a strip sack. And now a pick six. What a game.
That's unreal.
And he's walking on the sideline. Like, who's man? I'm the man day. And James Franklin knows it.
That is a dude. Gus, you said Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. How about just National Player of the Week, period? That's how good he was. As good as Harrison Jr. was, Tuimoloau was a one-man wrecking crew on this defense. Had a hand in all four of those turnovers. 2 interceptions, tackles for loss, sacks, forced fumbles, recovering fumbles, and now pick six. This dude's unreal.
Ruggles in to attempt the extra point. JT Tuimoloau was the #1 overall prospect in the country by one service in 2021, coming out of the state of Washington. And the Buckeyes landed a jewel.
Well, here he is. Watch, he's just going to work on the outside, and then he's being blocked. And while he's being blocked, he sees that a throw is coming and jumps simultaneously.
And you talk about,
that's unreal.
And you've been talking about the Ohio State Avalanche.
That's right.
You're from Colorado, so you used to avalanches. How about this? 4 touchdowns in a span of 6 minutes.
Well, and remember, through the first 9 possessions, Gus, it was just like last week. Last week, only 19 possessions. This week, only 16 points through 9 possessions. And then it was just like, what did you call it in the boxing game? It's just like a
bunches and bunches, points in bunches.
Points and bunches, man. And here they came. And sure enough, you look up, and Ohio State's up 44-24.
But what's the way for Ohio State today? And that's the story. The Oklahoma State-Kansas State game is coming up next, but is available on FS2 and the Fox Business Network, as well as the Fox Sports app. We will get you out there at the immediate conclusion of our game.
You know, and again, this team, they're just so talented. And as well as Penn State played at times, you know, it came down to the talent. Marvin Harrison Jr., JT Tuimoloau, a couple of great throws by C.J. Stroud.
Clifford underneath. Michigan beat Penn State 41-17. Right now, Ohio State is leading Penn State 44-24 with 2:25 to go. And Clifford deflected again. He's had a lot of balls deflected the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, part of that, though, is the active nature of that defensive line. And they have pushed the pocket back into the lap of Sean Clifford. When that happens, it's just the space between you and that defensive line. It's very difficult to get it up and over. And they've done a great job of getting their hand on the football several times.
3rd down and 10. Sean Clifford steps up in the pocket, dumps it off. And that one caught by Harrison Wallace. Not enough for 1st down, so that'll bring up 4th down and 5. And obviously Penn State going for it. Oh, they're giving them 1st down, excuse me. Here's Clifford. Thrown far side complete.
Don't you just get the sense, not just this stadium, but that opposite sideline over there, that they're just shell-shocked?
Yes. But what I think is more interesting is that the Ohio State defense is not shell-shocked.
No, and you know, it's not that they came out here and just dominated, but they made huge plays when they needed it the most. Turnovers early. They got pass rush when they needed it in obvious passing situations.
Clifford. And it's caught. Lambert Smith with running room, still on the move. Lambert Smith down at the 36-yard line. Steel Chambers makes the tackle.
But I think what's interesting for me is that coming into this season, this defense, yeah, we wanted to know about the different schematics and Jim Knowles, but it was also, hey, could they recapture some of that magic that they've had?
Ohio State.
That they have had, Gus, at pass rusher, you know, with the Chase Youngs of the world and the Bosas, and they seem to have found that with Harrison and JT Tuimoloau, and now you just look forward to that matchup at the end of November.
And you know, Joel, you've been saying for weeks that Michigan and Ohio State are like two freight trains heading at each other on the same track. So we made a graphic for it. Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh, Ohio State, Michigan. Greatest rivalry in sports, November 26th at big noon, only on Fox.
I mean, this thing is turning out to be just a heavyweight showdown. You know what's interesting is that you're seeing now Ohio State play really good complementary football. You know, this defense statistically one of the best in America. We know about their offense. Michigan's doing the same thing. They had questions coming into this season, and they have answered those. You know, their pass rush is showing up. Their defense is very good. Their run game clearly one of the best in America as well.
All complete for first down to Theo Johnson. Michigan with a game against Michigan State at home this evening. And looking down the road, the two big games for both these teams. Michigan plays Illinois the week before Ohio State, and Ohio State's got Maryland, who's turning out to be a pretty solid team with 6 wins on the season to go along with 2 losses.
Yeah, we saw that Maryland team up in Ann Arbor. Mike Loxley has done a nice job with the Terps, hasn't he? They're much better offensively. They're very tough. You know, this Penn State team, I know, listen, this is going to be their second loss, but this is still a really good team. This is still a team that went on the road and won a Big Ten road game at Purdue.
Second down and 2, it's a 5.
I was just going to say, they went to Auburn and thumped Auburn, and I know Auburn's not that great. They beat them by the same margin that Georgia did.
Clifford. Will he run it? No, in the end zone. Touchdown. Katron Allen.
Series there from Clifford and that offense.
Penn State with 2 timeouts left. Onside kick coming up.
Well, there are some out there that are awful happy about that touchdown.
Extra point good.
If you had Penn State
at 15. The old Warner Wolf line. Let's go to the videotape.
Well, how about Sean Clifford? I know it's not going to matter to him because he wants to win more than anything, but Sean Clifford just became the all-time touchdown thrower in this storied university's history. Sean Clifford, 78 touchdown passes as the Nittany Lions signal caller. Boy, I enjoyed our conversation with him. Didn't you?
Wonderful young man.
Good head on his shoulders. Desperate, wanted to play his best game in this matchup. Turnovers did them in. The pass rush did them in.
3 interceptions for Clifford today. 2 on their first 2 series.
By the way, just had that shot of C.J. Stroud. I hadn't looked up at the stat monitor in a little bit, and I was like, okay, what's Stroud? 26 of 33 for 354 and a tug? Okay.
And he'll tell you he probably didn't play his best game. Outside kick, out of bounds. That's a flag. Next week, we're heading to Fort Worth. Partner.
Team number 92. 5-yard penalty, Ohio State's football, first down and 10.
We're going to Fort Worth to take a look at the explosive, the electric TCU Horned Frog.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Max Duggan doing some work as their quarterback has quietly garnered a little bit of Heisman attention. The TCU quarterback, they beat West Virginia today on the road, so
They're 8-0,
big noon Saturday.
ranked 7th in the nation.
We'll be there, and big noon kickoff will also be there. We're heading to Fort Worth. Can't wait. You know, my oldest nephew goes to TCU.
All right, that means you're going to be buying him some dinner.
That's right.
Handoff. And Travion Henderson. The fourth quarter for Ohio State. One to remember.
Well, eventually, you know, you just get the sense that, like, if you give them too many bites at the apple, they're going to eventually succeed, and their talent will succeed. The Henderson run. Kate Stover, great touchdown, great play design. Henderson again around that left side. All that was born out of some terrific passing game to Marvin Harrison Jr. And then, I guess should we call this guy the closer? JT Tuimoloau? I mean, man, I tell you what. Every single opponent left on this schedule for Ohio State, they're going to watch this film, and it's going to hit the end of the film, you know, and the players just freeze. So coaches film, the players just freeze right at the end. It's just like done. And the coaches are going to look at each other and be like, okay, so how we blocked 44?
44 points for their 7th consecutive game. James Franklin will have to go back to the drawing board.
Boy, it looked good for a long time, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Minute and 7 to go. Henderson has to stay in bounds. Henderson with running room, and he'll be tackled short of that first down marker by DeLuca. Brings up third down at a yard.
Felt like we learned a lot about both of these teams. To be candid with you, I think Penn State actually proved a lot to me today. Because we had that game against Michigan, and Gus, that was not particularly a close game. And their defense was not up to par stopping the run, and they played way better than them. Their remaining schedule: Indiana, Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan State. I thought that they played much better today, and just eventually the talent for Ohio State took over. And conversely, you know, I mean, Ohio State didn't look great at times. They didn't run the ball in particularly well in the first basically 3 quarters. But eventually their consistency and their talent showed up as Rossi runs for a first down, and that'll do it.
44-31, 50 seconds to go. Ohio State will improve to 8-0. College football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. What are you thinking?
Boy,
Clemson maybe moving up.
I think that the playoff committee will value Clemson more than what we have during the course of the year because of some of their wins. Having said that, I think this is a big win for Ohio State, particularly on the road. Tennessee will get great value if they're able to beat Kentucky. Gus, you know, that win against Alabama will probably carry the day, but I think the top 3 teams in the country in some order are Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee.
44-31 the final. Buckeyes come back and win it to improve to 8-0. And downstairs on the field, our Jenny Tath with Coach Day.
Coach, congratulations on the win. And before this one, you acknowledged it, how challenging this atmosphere is, this environment, but it was the 4th quarter for you guys. So what went into the win finish day?
You know, for whatever it is, we play Penn State, it's been that way. And we talked about how you have to withstand the surge early. It's, you know, we all wish we could have, you know, done some things early on better on offense. Defense played well, created some turnovers. And then we just talked about getting the game to the 4th quarter and winning. And really proud of the way the guys played in the fourth quarter, the way they just played really hard, finished out the game. So it's a great win, and I thought our guys hung tough.
Quickly, Coach, JT Tuimoloau did about everything he could, a force to be reckoned with. How proud are you?
Well, he really stepped up, and you're seeing what he's capable of now, and great to see. That's a coming out party for him. Well deserved, happy for him, and you know, he's been working really hard at this, and so great to see all his hard work pay off.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. So, the final score from Happy Valley, Ohio State 44, Penn State 31. For Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Beaver Stadium. Have a wonderful day.